What's up, Redcasters? We set a video out a little bit ago, but because the Wi-Fi wasn't, or whatever, the network wasn't working, so we're just going to redo it. It's a mulligan.
We're learning.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So anyway, what we were talking about is like 5 things we were going to go into this first game that we're confident about. 5 things we feel good about. And number 1, kicking off right away, was physicality. I don't think there's any question that this will probably be the most physical Husker team that we've seen in a long, long time.
Certainly since we started the Redcast in 2017.
No question on that one. They've made an emphasis on that all camp long. I mean, even at the spring ball, the quarterbacks were live and they were getting hit. So I just don't see any way that we're less physical than we have been in the last short year or so. Excited about that, confident about that.
And I think it's one of the things that, as I'm looking at 2 through 5 that we're going to get to, it's perfect to have this as the first one because it's kind of a precursor to all the other ones. We don't get what we're going to talk about with 2 through 5 without starting it with that basis of being a physical football team.
Exactly. 100%.
And so it is important, but we're confident. That's the whole point of this. We're confident this is going to be a more physical team.
Hit me with number 2.
Situational football, Mac.
Situational football. What's that mean? What exactly does that mean? It means that we're prepared as the game happens to us for the things that come up quickly. Like what? Like a quick change on offense, a quick change on defense, special teams, all that kind of stuff. We're ready for it. We're prepared for it. You mentioned Rhule talking in that, was it on the inside? Is that what that's called?
Oh, it's a
look inside.
A look in.
A look in.
The hard knocks of Husker football.
Exactly.
Well, he talked about a couple different things that they do. They did the thing where he brought the captains of the offense and defense in that scrimmage and said, hey, it's a minute 30 left. You're at the 30-yard line.
Right.
You got to score, and defense, you have to stop them. But there's other times, too, another one of those episodes where you can just tell he's putting stress on that defense, like the black shirts where they kept forcing him to go back into
that was cool.
into the indoor facility, and that he was trying to get under their skin. He was trying to get them upset. He was trying to create chaos. And you saw Reimer at one point was talking about, guys, they're trying to get to our heads. They're trying to get under there. And everything you can do in a practice situation to create a game type of scenario so that when you get to the game and we're playing at the bank here in Minnesota here on Thursday night and something bad happens, you got to be able to slow down, calm, and get through it, weather the storm, and that you're going to finish strong. It's not about how we start.
Yeah, simulated stressful situations to help prepare them when the bullets are really flying. So that's key. That's clutch. That can be the difference maker in a lot of games because these games are going to be close. I don't think anyone thinks we're going to just be blowing teams out, but maybe Rob. But those are going to be important moments. So moving on to number 3.
Special teams
being, in particular, just being cleaner. Both, we talked about the single digits earlier and the black shirts being on the special teams. Foley's doing such a great job of making sure these guys are prepped and ready to go. I think the special teams might actually have a chance to be special this year as opposed to scary.
Well, and I think if Boomer was here right now, and Boomer's, of course, our special teams coordinator on the Redcast, he always talks about that there needs to be an emphasis on special teams and the frustration whether it was an analyst that was running it in the past or that it kind of played a backdoor in practice in other ways. That's exactly the opposite of what we've seen here, and something that we focused on one of our earlier videos today was about how many single-digit guys are going to be on it. Or during the press conference today when he talks about Johnson & Johnson, Emmett and Ramir returning kicks, and that we're going to return kickoffs. We're not going to take fair catches on kickoffs. That's a strategy. At the very least, it sounds like a strategy that's being talked about.
Well, and it tells the players, too, hey, we're being serious about this. You guys are going to be playing. So brace yourselves for this moment because it's happening. The special teams are going to play a role this year, and hopefully a good one.
And with kicker, probably the most concerning thing might be on our next video with concerns is the kicker, is that kickers, of course, they're part of the special teams, but at the core of it being an emphasis, the fact that we have Bleekrode, a guy who kicked the way he did a year ago, and he's not even starting because they went out and they brought in Alvano, who could have kicked at just about any school in the country. At the very least, the emphasis is that we're creating quality depth there. This isn't 2019 depth where we bring in 8 kickers and we're just bringing in guys off of campus. Look, kickers are going to, sometimes they struggle. Culp was a all-conference kicker for us in 2020 and came back and missed the first extra point of the season against Illinois the next year. Kickers are going to hit and miss. That happens. But the emphasis to make sure that they've built depth and the emphasis that they're putting on special teams, it's the reason why it made number 3 on our list. It's definitely a priority. Number 4.
The running game, the number 1 top priority of the offense. I don't think there's any question about it. I know they've said it a bunch. This isn't groundbreaking or anything like that. But I still think a lot of Husker fans, myself included, are like, I got to see it first. But the more I've listened to him talk, I'm pretty confident that's exactly what we're going to see. He's talking about big sets. He's talking about making offensive linemen tight ends just to get bigger bodies on the field. Gabe Ervin taking the number 1 spot has a lot to do with his size. He's like 225 right now, a big, strong Big Ten running back. I mean, hell, our leading rusher last year is now our 3rd string running back. And that just tells you, hey, man, this room must look pretty good. And I'm pretty confident this year, Ramir Johnson will play. I think.
I think Ramir will. I also think Anthony Grant's going to play quite a bit.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that Rhule is very strategic with what he says and chooses not to say an oppressor. If he wants to tell us that the kickers are struggling, there's a reason he said it. And if he wants to tell us that Anthony Grant fumbled the ball around a little bit, he didn't have to say it, but he did. And I think that Grant, the guy that almost had 1,000 yards rushing for us a year ago, and is a different skill set and brings talent to the position.
He's a home run threat.
He's a home run threat, different from Ervin. That's okay. I think we're going to need both, but the priority on running game. And we've seen that. I think you're going to see it in the personnel groups from the 12 to 21 to 22 personnel packages, where I see people that freak out about the receiver position right now, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know how often we're going to have more than 2 wide receivers on the field at any given time anyways. I'm not saying the days of the 3 receiver or 4 receiver set are over. I'm just saying the reliance on that, or that being what we do all the time, the way that Whipple had it set up. I'm picking on Whipple. Frost did the same thing. I think you're going to see a lot more 2 tight end sets. I think you're going to see a lot more full house backfields. And you mentioned Bonner. Bonner is a guy that he could be on the field almost every play. And he could be lined up in any one of these positions.
He's a sneaky utility guy.
Oh my God, he comes here as a 4-star wide receiver, but he's built up now where he could be a flex tight end. He could be a down the hand in the turf tight end. He obviously can be a fullback like he was in the all of the spring game pretty much. And he could be on the field 5 straight plays and line up 5 different ways. So
100%. So
it's all about running the ball.
So point 1 being physicality, and then point 4 being the emphasis on the run game, leads us to point 5,
tackling.
Confident that our tackling is going to be good out of the gate. Because of how much contact they've had in this fall camp and in spring ball as well, there's been so many opportunities to hone your tackling skills, and that's just not something you can do game 1. You can't wait till the games to get good at tackling, and I feel like in years past that's kind of where we've been. I'm pretty confident this year, especially with the veteran guys we have back there, all the single digits, that also our black shirts. That just tells me I'm confident that these guys are going to be swarming to the ball and making plays.
And we're huge fans of Bill Busch and what Bill Busch did a year ago, and I think he built a base on special teams, but he also built a base on defense that can lead to today. When Shenander was fired and that bye week right after the Oklahoma game lost last year, we had 2 weeks before Indiana, and there was the first practice afterwards. They asked Miles Farmer, how did tackling go in practice? And he goes, well, it's the first time we've done it in, however many years. I think that opened a lot of eyes. But how are you going to be a good tackling team when you don't tackle? Well, number 5, we are confident that we are going to be better at tackling because we know that this team's been doing it. So I think those are your 5 things we're most confident
that we're going to see game 1.
What does it lead to an immediate win? We're not predicting wins and losses, but you do these things right, and they're the things that lead to wins. Physicality, situational football, special teams, running the football, and tackling. If you like this, Redcasters, subscribe. Hopefully you already are subscribed, but subscribe to this, and then leave us your comments. Tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong.
Give us some things we hadn't mentioned. Touch on something that you're confident about, whether it being you have a source inside the program or just things you've heard. What are you gleaning from the program in this long off season to make you feel confident about something? We're going to
We're going to go over the 5 biggest concerns leading up here.
We're hopefully we can get to 5. The longer this trip goes, the less concerns I have. So we're going to try to get to 5. When it only gets to 3, that's fine.
GBR.
All right. Talk to y'all later. Let's try to end this cleanly.